Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that don't know, I am a huge fan of Ultron. I think Ultron is kind of like Hyperion. He's an old champion that's pretty much a perfect design champion, and they both have aspects that people always complained about. Some said Ultron needed better damage, others said Hyperion needed better regeneration. Because although Hyperion technically does have regen, it is pretty bad. But all in all, they aged like a fine wine. They're just better designed than a lot of the champions that came after them. And the thought was that Hyperion as a 7-star is exciting and now, but Ultron as a 7-star, I don't know about you, I hadn't heard too much rumblings about it. And then Raid Week hit, and look, I've heard so much feedback from people about raids. I could do a 30-minute video on it, and it might be the worst video I ever produced on this channel. So, to sum it up in 30 seconds instead of 30 minutes, I've heard from some people who say it's the greatest thing that's happened to the game in a long time, and they love it. Most people I've heard aren't in that camp, though. They're either, let's wait and see, I'm not excited with what I've seen so far camp, or this is what's wrong with the game, they're completely out of touch, and this entire rollout shouldn't have been given to us like a 20-page dossier, and oh, by the way, even just enlisting in raids is the most confusing thing I've ever seen. Surely, just like incursions or battlegrounds or so many other new features that have happened in the game in the last 5 years, they're going to hear the feedback, they're going to make changes, but just like in incursions and in battlegrounds, you can't make changes overnight, especially wholesale changes. Like Simula said on Twitter, it's going to take months for them to tweak this because the coding and the front end work is already there for what we see right now. But when you look at your raid boss loot, you can see that this is a potential thing that exists. I did not know, for the record, that this was possible. Now, Ultron is far more than just a trophy champ. He is a legit prize. Now, is a 7-star Ultron going to be somebody that makes or breaks your Battlegrounds matchup? Probably not. But between his immunities, his regen, his pesky evade, and his tankiness, which at times can be, again, pretty tanky, he's going to be a fun 7-star. Now, who knows when the average player that doesn't do raids will see him, if ever. But Kabam's got to have some new, exciting carrot to dangle in front of players to entice them to try it out. And 7-star Ultron may not be good enough, but for some people, he might be. Again, who knows what the drop rates of this are. However, I have another screen to show you, and shout out to my man Eric Coker for hitting me up. But now we're going to go to another supporter of the channel, Mr. Dynamics, who usually sends over jokes to the channel, but he sent over the following. I'm just going to hide my webcam for this really cool message. First on YouTube that I've seen. An Alliance member opened a 7-star from their Paragon Alliance Quest Raid Crystal. Opened a 7-star? Well, what kind of 7-star are we talking about, y'all? Oh, yeah! Ultron! 7-star Ultron exists. And Dynamics has him. It's really funny that he sent this over next to a bunch of 3-stars and a 1-star Summon Symbiote. Look at that little guy, a little symbiote. So cute. But yeah, that's Ultron. I'll bring myself back now. How cool is that? I'm not like over the moon jealous, but I do think it's really awesome. And I'm happy for the people who get him. Now, if that's the only way I'm ever going to get a 7-star, even with the future Banquet Crystals and July 4th deals and Cyber Week deals, will I be sad? No. I still don't know if I'll ever be to the point where I'm thinking, God, I just got to do raids. Got to do them. But maybe that'll change. I was very skeptical on Battlegrounds for a long time, and I still only do 3 fights every 2 days, but that's more than most of my alliance does at this point. And I generally either get my tail whooped or narrowly win, but I still find it to be an interesting way to figure out who I'm going to rank up next and kind of learn some champions. But Battlegrounds has actually got me better with champions. That's it's like the arena, but way harder. And so it's practice. It's practice against champions you don't like to fight. It's practice against really annoying nodes. And it does have some rewards, though I would argue the rewards for Battlegrounds are so bad compared to where they should be given the importance of the game mode that I'm starting to wonder if those don't need to be looked at ASAP. And that probably needs to be its own video topic at some point for another day. But that's not today's video. Today's video is all about Ultron, Eric, and Dynamics. Thanks for reaching out. Ironically, I don't think you know each other, but you reached out to me at the same time about the same topic. But Dynamics was the big winner with that 7-star Ultron. Always happy to shout out a supporter of the channel.